Hey guys, in this section we're going to start diving into the anatomy of cells. There's a phrase often used in anatomy, form follows function. Hopefully by the end of this series you'll be able to see just what they mean by that. So starting off, let's have a quick look at our objectives for this section. By the end of the week, you should be able to define all of the parts of the cell, from the outside plasma membrane, the contents of the fluid inside, be able to identify all of the organelles inside the cell, and describe all of their functions. You should be able to describe the role DNA, RNA, and chromosomes play in the body, and be able to describe the two types of cellular division, meiosis and mitosis. Lastly, you should be able to describe the way that substances leave cells through the various types of active and passive transport. So there's a lot to talk about, so let's get started. So, what are cells? Cells are microscopic organisms that make up and live in our bodies. They all vary in shape and size, with red blood cells being 7.5 micrometers and a female egg or ovum being almost 150 micrometers. They are also all different shapes. Some are round and squat, some are long and stretched, some are squishy, and some are solid. But with all that variance in the cells, they all still have some common parts. So all cells have a plasma membrane, which is the outside wall of the cell. The plasma membrane surrounds the cell and helps keep all the fluid, called the cytoplasm, inside the cell and stops it from mixing with the fluid outside the cell, called the interstitial fluid or extracellular fluid. Inside that cytoplasm, we have the organelles, specialized structures that perform a variety of different tasks inside the cell. Alright, so let's start with this plasma membrane. It's a two-layer wall that surrounds the cell, and it's made up of two phospholipid layers stacked on top of each other. If you remember what phospholipids are from our last section, they have one end that attracts water and one end that repels it. By stacking these two layers together, with the water attracting sides pointing against each other, they act as this great wall, keeping the cytoplasm inside and the interstitial fluid out. In between that layer, you'll also see some cholesterol floating around. This helps keep the two layers intact and from floating apart. Now, acting as a barrier is all well and good, but there are times when certain hormones, carbs, or electrolytes need to get in and out of our cell. There are a bunch of ways that the cell membrane facilitates this, but often they involve other proteins that act as channels all the way through the cell membrane. If a compound can't get through the cell, sometimes it'll stick on the outside and then activate a receptor inside the cell wall. That receptor will then cause some other kind of change inside the cell. It's kind of like when the Amazon delivery guy rings the doorbell, and then inside the house we hear it and get up and head to the door. This theory of receptor sites plays a huge part in our understanding of pharmacology and toxicology.